Hey Melina, I'm looking forward to catching up with you, but I just wanted to make a quick little video here just in case things get really busy. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to thank you because I think back to those times when working on the migration. That was a really good experience for me, and it was great to see you also lead in the aspect of project management and RACI and having the Excel runbook to being able to go through projects. And there's a few things that I wanted to point out in that experience that have really translated for me as I've continued on. So an example is like I'm at the city of Santa Monica, and I've actually had two jobs there. I first started under enterprise applications, and when we were doing the app remediation stuff, that really helped in my understanding of enterprise applications as a whole through the organization. The city's a lot smaller than Warner Brothers, but just in how applications are used by multiple teams and how being aware of the timing of it, the steps that are involved, double checking things, making sure that things work, doing testing, stuff like that. All things that I know to you and me sound like, hey, it's part of normal procedure. It would be what makes sense. It's amazing how many people don't have that kind of experience or knowledge or wherewithal, and just even doing things end to end, even writing things out, having an Excel runbook, like that's all very new, which is crazy. But I think it also goes to show though how important that is, because when I see what happens and I see compared to the results that I have for my work that I picked up from prior projects like at WB working with you, I think it really goes to show a testament of how doing things the right way gets the right results. And when I see other people, I try to teach them, but also too, it's just kind of strange how I don't know how it operates. The other thing is that so I'm also now the SharePoint administrator, so I changed roles because I have a lot of technical and analytics and coding, and so that was something that the CIO and I had a conversation about, and he thought that would be a better fit for me, and I think that is a better fit for me on my technical skills and where I can also do automation, and that's something that I really like is the automation side of it. But going back though is that on the project management side, that's where I'm also project managing in many ways the automation and SharePoint projects as a whole myself, and it's important to have that foundational knowledge in seeing the examples, because when we were at when I was at WB with you guys, they had Planner, we had Microsoft List, we had ADO, and ADO Azure DevOps Board was the big one that I was using and Macias was using. At the city, it's not as much kind of funding, so having something like Excel, which is something that's much more common, is also a case where it's like, hey, sometimes you got to go with something that's the most commonly available, not only from my usage perspective, but also too in working with other people. It's something that's also available to them. Whereas something like Power BI, which I like, it requires a license, and there's financial challenges when it comes to getting additional resources. The same thing at Warner Brothers for a lot of things for the past few years, but the budget at the city is very different. So that was something where having that foundational knowledge and being able to use different tools for it is important to be able to adapt. The last things I wanted to add in is, speaking of project management, I know there's a lot of talk between ServiceNow and Smartsheets and what's Paul Long and the rest of them going to decide on, or Chapman's going to decide on what to use next. Hard to say. There's a lot of back and forth in terms of Snow because Roxanne's really invested in that, and I don't know what they're going to do, but it's kind of funny because we're in a similar situation at the city where they have ServiceNow and they're trying to figure out what to do. Do they keep it? Do they move on? And how do they project manage things? Because there's all these costs that are added to it. So I think it's important to be able to have that strong foundational knowledge, and then you can use that to help determine what tools to use. The last thing I wanted to add into, speaking of project management and like the run book and the RACIs and stuff like that, is that also really came into play for me when it came to grad school, because in my first class there were some projects that we had to do project proposals on, like cybersecurity, like an ERP system, like SAP, and automation, and I used a lot of the same concepts that we talked about into building these out in these group projects. And it's kind of crazy because it's like, even though I'm there with other engineers, a director, SAP consultants, stuff like that, they don't have the same experience or as much experience. And so I just wanted to share that working with you and then working on WB projects and getting that experience has been continuously beneficial, and I thank you for that, not only in the classroom but also at the office as well. So looking forward to catching up with you again, Melina, and until then, take care, and I will see you later. Bye.